gear comes with swappable parts and accessories, new from NECA.
As predicted, it is a bit of a lean week, but you know me, I will always find toys to ramble about because I'm Robo. This here's the Rewind. Last week we talked about the Yolopark Transformers AMK Pro Series Generation 1 Nemesis Prime model kit. It's a formula as old as cartoons. You take the main hero, throw some villain colors on it, and bam! You have a new bad guy for that shelf. It's Optimus Prime in black with the Decepticon logo, and you know what? It works. It's a kick-ass recognizable design, just made to look more sinister. That's good toy. We get a cool looking robot out of the deal if we want it, and companies get to reuse molds. It's win-win. Even more so when it comes to convention exclusives, and that's exactly what this is. It's not a major character that everybody needs for their collection, it's just a repaint. And yeah, like I said, this is a perfect exclusive. I'm swinging back around to this because last week I mentioned all the overseas shows that this will be appearing next weekend, while stating it won't be at San Diego Comic-Con. Well, that's not completely true. At least, I don't think it's completely true. It may be true from a certain point of view. This week, Yolopark announced they will be at San Diego Comic-Con, or at least they'll have a presence at San Diego Comic-Con. I think they're sharing the booth with somebody else. In that announcement, they listed this limited edition Nemesis Prime under new products. At first, I thought, dang, cool, maybe I can pick this up at the show. Throw it in my bag, jump on an airplane, come home, put it together, have a fun time. But then I thought maybe it's just gonna be in their display case. Again, they're sharing a spot, so I don't know if they'll have the room or the resources to bring over pallets full of Nemesis Primes. I'm not sure either way. I guess we'll find out here in about a few days. Another correction, we already talked about the Super 7 Dungeons & Dragons Ultimate and said the various offerings like Vecna and translucent plastic Sheila and oh, that beautiful Tiamat were San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. That is wrong! They're just debuting and going up for pre-order during the show. They are not exclusive to the con itself. These pictures are just the pre-show. Get the announcements out of the way, get us focused on, oh, okay, maybe some new Dungeons & Dragons stuff. I need to count out my money before the dealing's done. And then hopefully we'll see actual prototypes next week because I want to behold. I need a Tiamat. I say all this because there's also news on the Super 7 ThunderCats Ultimates front. Same deal, pre-orders open up next week for some new figures like the Ghost of Groon. It's a concept we've seen time and time again at Ultimates, and it just happens to fit with a lot of power sets or appearances in the cartoon. In this case, Groon goes into the afterlife and comes back as a yellow popsicle. Yeah. ThunderCats is one of those properties I remember being a thing. I remember watching the cartoon, but at this point I only remember like the main cast. The heroes, the villains, anyone below that is just kind of and what happened to them in those storylines. So in that case, I just kind of wing it. So don't put this one in your mouth for sure. I do like the idea of Mum-Ra with LED lights though. I think that's a callback to the vintage toy. Did it light up or was there a deluxe, a special edition? Something like that. The way they have the little graphic up at the top, it feels very throwback. But it also seems very appropriate for Mum-Ra, you know? Same goes for Lion-O with his sight beyond sight. But then I read the description for Lion-O and it says all new sculpt. That's interesting because I don't know how the LEDs are going to be implemented on Lion-O or Mum-Ra. Is it all going to be self-contained within the head? Is there going to be wires running somewhere? I bring that up because of reuse potential. Could we see this new sculpt on a basic Lion-O in the future? On the one hand, yes, we've gotten a few Lion-Os before, but it's the leader of the good guys. Why wouldn't a company put that out in regular intervals, just like every other company and every other property and every other toy line out there? You know, the Skywalkers, the Han Solos, the Princess Leias, the Darth Vaders, the Optimus Primes, the Megatrons, the Bumblebees, the He-Mans, the Skeletors, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, each iteration, hopefully, if plans go correctly, an improvement over the previous release. It's a good thing to keep the big names on the market. Ta-da! Buy it, don't buy it, I don't care. It's out there for people who need it. New collectors, people who missed the first time, and it'll happen again and again. Another new tidbit of McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse news this week. Here is the gold label McFarlane Toys Store exclusive collector edition All-Star Western Jonah Hex and General 2-pack. Now this is awesome for a couple of reasons, and no, not just because it's Jonah Hex. One, they are getting fast and loose with the soft goods, and that's not a bad thing, especially here. He needs to be able to jump up on the horse and ride into the sunset. You can't do that with a plastic jacket. Sure, it's collector's edition, it's higher price. In fact, it's a 2-pack and an exclusive, so it is higher priced. But they seem to be doing that in other areas too. 2 pistols. And up until about 20 minutes ago, I only had this picture to go by. But you could clearly see the pistols sticking out of the holsters. Making it exclusive to their own toy store may be the workaround here, a loophole of some kind where it's not being marketed directly to the impressionables. But they also made a point to say, not a toy in the announcement. No, that is definitely a toy. But again, maybe the verbiage is part of the legalese. Hey, whatever it takes to put guns with the toys of characters that use guns in the comics, in the movies, in the cartoons. But it gets even better because, like I said, the pre-order went up as I was coming out here. And there, it showed that it comes with more stuff. There's also a sword, an axe, a knife, and a rifle, along with swappable belt rigs for either going heeled or bringing blades to a gunfight. So there were some surprise additions, and ain't nothing wrong with that. Something totally out of the blue, here is the Bandai SH Figuarts Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Spider-Man India. This is hard to admit, but I haven't actually sat down and watched Across the Spider-Verse yet. I know, I'm an idiot. I'm not a true fan. I got well past the release date and when it was in theaters, and now it's on Disney Plus, but it keeps slipping my mind. I'm like, oh, I need to watch this and this and this. But now that you show me an amazing looking action figure, it's moving back to the top of the list. Somehow I completely missed or forgot that Spider-Man India was part of the movie. I'm sure it was in the original trailers and stuff, but that was so long ago. Which is a shame because I really like the look here and want to find out more. Again, that is just a hallmark of a good toy. It seems every detail is sculpted in here, giving the uniqueness of the costume a chance to shine. But it's not overly done, which has been my main complaint for a lot of the other SH Figuarts Spider-Verse figures. I get it, the source material has textures, but Bandai tends to exaggerate that aspect in most cases. I like the contrast of flat parts on this costume. It lets it breathe. And I haven't even mentioned the colors, the reds, the blues, the pinks, the gold trim just popping out. Pow! And I love the hair. Maybe because it's something I don't normally associate with a Spidey costume. Yes, 90s X-Men types, but not Spider-Man. It hits different on a webbed costume. Again, it makes me want to watch the movie, and that is a win in my book. While we're in Marvel Town, a few Hasbro Marvel Legends updates. The Jean Grey Phoenix went up for pre-order this week at all the usual online retail outlets like Big Bad Toy Store. Well, it hit Amazon first for $50, and there was a $50. What's going on here? But then BBTS put it up for $35. Followed by Entertainment Earth at that same price, and thought, okay, Amazon's gonna come along, fix their price. But then Hasbro Pulse posted it for $50, and then Big Bad Toy Store and EE quickly followed suit. So the price of this is $50, which seems a little high. I mean, I'm only going by the presentation here, because that's basically 2-pack price for a deluxe figure. The box is smaller but the same price as the Rogue and Destiny pack that I just pre-ordered last week. It's also the same price as Ghost Rider and Health Cycle, which is also a bigger box and more intricate overall. Now, I'm not saying the Phoenix Effect is a skimpy piece of plastic. In fact, pound for pound, it probably uses a little more material than the figure itself. But I gotta think it takes a lot less manufacturing resources. It's some chunks of plastic. There is some articulation here and there, but not near as much as a regular figure. And again, you put something in a smaller box, the mindset for everybody is it should be a smaller price point. This looks and feels like $39.99. It's presented as a $39.99 item. But damn it, the effect is something that I've been wanting for years and years and years and years and years. And Jean does look fantastic with the updated articulation and face paints. And I'm back and forth on the boot and glove tops. Yes, they look good sculpted, but you go back to the classic appearances and it's just part of the costume. It's not boots and gloves. I hate that I want this so much because it is part of my dream display. This is Jean Grey. Maybe the price is higher here to offset the eventual red repaint of this figure, hopefully with the same thing, but with a lesser price point. Or maybe they're going to throw that effect in with an Excalibur Rachel Summers Phoenix in the Hound costume. I don't know. I don't know. I can't help but think that we're going to be staring down that same barrel for whatever happens in the future, too. On to some brighter Marvel Legends news. Hey, Walmart Collector Con is just around the corner. It starts next week, and we'll finally be able to easily pre-order that retro-carded Venom and Professor X Warlord that we've known about for a while now. Sure, there's not enough pre-orders already going up next week, Walmart. Why don't you just add to the pile? Why don't you schedule it for the same week as San Diego Comic-Con? Thankfully, I'm still on the fence with this Venom, and it's hop. It's hop. Well, I'll go one day wanting it because I'll look at the pictures and go, well, okay, that is a cool looking Venom. But then it'll be more than a few days where I'm like, I don't need another Venom. Nope, you can't make me. We'll see. You want it? No, I don't. Yes, you do. No, I don't need to spend any more money on top of all the money I'm already spending next week. It's only money. That is not a reason. I'm all in on Xavier, though. I need this after Hasbro knocked out that main team from that storyline, along with Lilandra. Hell, I want two of these. Keep one as the interior art version, and then the other repaint to look like the cover. Well, it's got me customizing a Deathbird, which Deathbird was already high on my list, but I figure I'll get this done about the time that Hasbro announces their own version. You're welcome. Which is okay, I still had my fun. I like doing this kind of thing, whether or not an official version comes out or not. But that's neither here nor there, because back to you, Walmart. We're gonna be friendly. I just mentioned wanting to, but in the back of my head, it's like, well, sure, it's gonna happen. Sure. I could say, well, exclusives have gotten a little easier to get on Walmart over the past few years. I don't expect a lot of trouble. And then you just crank that misery up to 11 as we're trying to get stuff into our carts that sells out in 2 minutes and then never comes back. But if I say, oh my God, it's Walmart, it's gonna be a nightmare. Expect a kick in the crotch. And it'll just be gingerly wandering onto the site a couple days later and pre-ordering and thinking, what was I all worried about? What's it gonna be, Walmart? Because I know what I'm gonna do. Cats and dogs living together. It's easier to put a camel through the eye of a needle than it is for a poor collector like me to pre-order an exclusive on Walmart.com. Oh my God, the end of the world is nigh. Is that gonna work? Will it work, please? Sticking with Hasbro and Walmart Collector Con, here is the G.I. Joe Classified Series Night Force Falcon and Quarrel. Remember when I said exclusives are always best when it's not a unique character and or some parts that are direly needed in your collection? Shit. Like I always say about G.I. Joe, I have a general knowledge of the main characters, so Quarrel is kind of off my radar. I had to actually do a quick search, and I read a bio about this big. You know, a good old-fashioned Robo don't know. But I can appreciate the cleverness. She's Quarrel. She disagrees with the enemy, with her opponents. But Quarrel is also another name for a crossbow bolt, which is her main weapon, as far as I can tell. It also makes sense that she's on a repainted Retro Scarlet, since that's how the vintage figure was released. Falcon also looks great. Now, I am not a Night Force kind of guy, but if I had to pick my favorite special mission colorways, Night Force would be at the top of the list. I like Tiger Force for the silliness and the Battle Cat camo, and I think I enjoy making fun of Python Patrol more than anything with the ketchups and mustards, but Night Force keeps that G.I. Joe aesthetic color-wise and design. You know what I mean? It's not just, hey, let's spin the color wheel and just throw them at figures. I think this is going to be a hot item because, well, there's Coral, new character for the collection, but also because of the updated Falcon head. I just featured the old version on a play day, and while it's okay in general terms, the head was never great. It looks okay, but you put it side by side with a lot of other classified series figures, and it just looks like a bad Zartan mask. So I can see a lot of collectors picking this up, swapping the Falcon head over to the old body for the classic look, using the helmet head on this Falcon body for a generic soldier, and then adding Coral to the shelf. Because, as far as I can tell, this is her original look. It's Night Force, but it's also the original Fillet Figures colorway. And just throwing this out, don't be a dick and swap heads then return it. That's just some dirty pool. Finally, since we're still in the realm of Walmart Collector Con, I think my favorite reveal this week was the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Archie Comics Crying Hound. I'm not sure if Walmart was supposed to post it. Well, I say that. They posted the G.I. Joe 2-pack without any fanfare, any announcements from the companies themselves. You know what I mean? So Walmart posted their landing page. These things appeared on it. So at this moment, we only have 3 pictures and some basic information. And I'm excited. Not because I'm a Crying Hound super fan, and it's not because I read a lot of Archie comics back in the day. It's just that for some reason, I absolutely love the Stump Wrestling Turtles, and this goes with those. Maybe because it's something different design-wise? You know we get a lot of turtles, but it's usually the turtles. The skin showing, the turtle shell, the straps, the pads, the bandanas, just from different source materials, different cartoons, different comics, different artists. And don't get me wrong, that is a beautiful thing. It gives people options. I'm not that asshole who's gonna rant and complain just because a certain release of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles wasn't made specifically for me. The more the merrier. Bring them all on. I may not get all of them, but I have choices. For me, the Wrestling Turtles bring a lot of color, a lot of extra detail, a lot of personality to those basic designs. They come from a fun place in the history of this property. Plus, I remember seeing the covers for this back in the day at the comic shop when I was buying I'm reading serious comics, like X-Men and such. But I remember seeing those covers and thinking, God dang, that turtle all in black is badass. It changed things up, shook things loose, and I need that in plastic form. That's why I've been skipping around on other TMNT releases, The Last Ronin, or the Mirage sets and everything. Because as soon as they showed the Wrestling Turtles last year at San Diego Comic-Con, I was like, that's gonna be my next turtle purchase, or at least my next major one. I think I've picked up a few, but you know what I mean. And Crying Hound is part of that visual. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to hold 3 characters up in the air, 3 turtle figures, but he'll look cool standing behind them. Long story short, I like turtles, I like wrestling, I like nostalgia, I like some classicness. Gimme. So again, Walmart, let's play it cool. We can all get what we want here. You want money, we want toys. Let's be civil about this. Although, I do believe this is first to Walmart. Is this going to be available in other places later? Oh, and before I forget, it doesn't quite look like the cover. The pink and the design is more like the interiors. So if you're wondering about that, then... But back to you, Walmart. Don't make me angry. And that's all I've got for this week. I may have missed something, but we'll swing back Well, I don't know. Is there going to be a next week? Before getting into that, extra special thanks to the No-Bots, because I wouldn't be able to do this without them. You know I love you. But yeah, next week is San Diego Comic-Con, which means I'm traveling, I'm driving, I'm flying, I'm sitting in hotels, sitting in lines, sitting in crowds, looking at toys through glass cases, and I don't know what's gonna happen. Some of the panels overlap, and then Veebs and I have a couple of appointments that also get in the way of... So, just be on the lookout. This year, since I'm doing it for myself, I'm on my own out here, I may just shoot some booth, or take some pictures and post them to socials, or throw something together and put it up here on the channel. I'm kind of going in blind, and that's not a bad thing. It changes things up. I've been doing San Diego the same way for more than a few years now. And this year I feel like I'm I'm gonna go hang out while getting some pictures, trying to get some information, trying to get video. I don't know. Fast and loose, baby. So we'll see some G.I. Joe. We'll see some Marvel Legends. We'll see some Star Wars. We'll see all the greatest hits that I usually talk about on here. The NECA. I think we have a walkthrough on Thursday, and some Super 7, and whatever else. You know I'm going to make my way down to the other end of the convention center where Yolopark's set up, just to see what they have. Maybe just look at the display piece for Nemesis Prime and go, well, it's easy to say, I need that, when it's not available. It's a whole different ball game when I walk up and they have stacks behind the thing, and it's like, don't want to spend the money? I want that. But if it's just the display piece, then I'll be, oh, I couldn't buy Nemesis Prime and I really, really wanted to. Oh, the collectors.